Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Hope that y'all had a wonderful Wednesday. I'm excited that we're back with Wednesday night Bible study. I have missed it. So, before I get into this evening's lesson, I want to have a transparent moment with you. Those of you who know me, primarily family, know that standing in front of groups and speaking is something I don't necessarily mind doing. I'm quite comfortable in doing it, actually. But I have been very nervous. In fact, now the butterflies are here, and, I can feel the body getting kind of warm around the neck. Because generally when I'm speaking, I'm talking on subjects that I'm well-versed in and I'm very comfortable with. Not that I'm not comfortable with God, but in sharing how He has walked with me through my life, the things that He has done. It's been a battle that I've had on whether or not my journey is necessarily one that's really worth sharing. So that's something that I am growing in. I know this is a stretching moment, so bear with me. If the voice is a little shaky, it won't be next week because I'll be good and ready. But I'm humbled to be in front of you, and I just pray that whatever is said tonight is something that touches you, that causes you to think differently about the way in which you're managing your time. And I'm just going to tell you, prepare yourself, because this is not going to be a session where I'm going to be talking at you. So there are going to be a lot of moments where I'll be asking questions. So I'm going to need some feedback, and if I don't get any, then I'm going to go into teacher mode. Now, I have never been a teacher, but I come from a family full of them, so I will point you out, okay? All right, so time management. When God intercedes, that is going to be our topic for this month. And as we walk through this month, I kind of want to give you a preview of what we're going to be talking about. So this week, we're going to touch on traditional time management. What is it? I'm sure that many of us have heard about time management. Some of us may even be using time management practices today. But for the entire group, we're just going to kind of level set and talk about what time management is, and also bring up some examples of time management in the Bible. Week 2, we're going to talk about priorities and planning ahead, the art of time management. So this is where we're going to get into the different types of practices that are available for you to utilize, and maybe you even share some practices that you may have created on your own to help you manage your time. And then week 3, we're going to talk about focusing on the future, divine time management. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about when God really starts to intercede. And honestly, He should be interceding when we start our discussion tonight. But we're going to focus week 3 on the divine time management. What is it, and how do you really practice that? And then week 4, redeeming our time. How are we really planning our time with God? How do we show God that we love Him with our time? How do we show others that we love Him with our time and ourselves? So that's just a preview of what we've got going on for this month. So let's jump on into week 1, traditional time management. What is it? So I'm sure if you've heard this term, you all probably have a word that's popped up in your head. Maybe calendars, maybe you have a certain practice that you actually use. But there are several definitions when it comes to time management. And let's see here. Oh, for those of you who are looking at this screen here, it's just due to the projector. But we do have this on a QR code. So if you want to scan the QR code, you'll get these slides for this week. Next week, you won't have to worry about that because I'm going to change the color of the slides so that you can see all of the fonts and everything. And the QR codes are up on the screen now. So Proverbs 21:5 says, good planning and hard work lead to prosperity, but hasty shortcuts lead to poverty. So I just want that to kind of sit with you as we get into tonight's topic. The definition of time management, there are several. You could ask 10 people right now what time management is, and you would get 10 different definitions. But these are 3 that I kind of like. The first one is by Cambridge. It's the Cambridge definition. The practice of using the time that you have available in a useful, an effective way, especially in your work. National Society of High School Scholars defines it as a crucial skill that involves the efficient and effective allocation of one's available time to accomplish tasks and achieve goals. And the Corporate Finance Institute, I kind of chuckled at this one, they define it as time management is the process of planning and controlling how much time to spend on specific activities. They even go on to say that good time management enables an individual to complete more in a shorter period, lowering stress and leading to career success. Now, I don't know about you, I heard some grunts, but when I don't meet the tasks that I have outlined for myself for the day, my stress levels do not go down, they go up. Because this is now something I have to add to tomorrow. And I already have stuff planned for tomorrow. Okay, so I would beg to differ that it lowers stress. But all of these terms speak to my type A personality. Okay, if you ask my husband, he will tell you that when we first met, I was not the spur of the moment person. I need 24, 48 hours to plan. It needs to be on my calendar, because if it's not, I'm not doing it. I was adamant about the no. I've softened now. But those words still resonate with me, because as a professional, to be efficient is important. To be able to control your day and to make sure that you're getting everything accomplished is important. And with that sense of importance comes this sense of empowerment, because if we can get it done and accomplish it, that means we must really be doing something, right? Don't we all kind of feel like that throughout our day? Well, I would kind of throw this up here as a devil's advocate and say that the societal approach may not be as practical as we have come to believe it to be. Society has conditioned us to set goals with supported tasks and achieve them. In fact, you would be amazed at how young you were when you first had your introduction to time management. New parent classes and books have guided mothers and fathers to set a schedule for their newborns. Keep them to it and not miss a feeding, a nap, or a diaper change, or else you're going to have a fussy baby and two exhausted parents. Children attend school, elementary school, where they are introduced to passing periods. They are expected to manage 5 quick minutes between classes and make a determination on whether or not they're going to go to the bathroom or go to the locker to pick up their books. An aspiring employee in a high-stakes position is encouraged to manage their tasks more efficiently in the hopes of a promotion. But they also have to figure out how they're going to juggle work and then make it to the next family event. So we've really been infiltrated by society all of our lives with this mantra that being goal-driven and high-performing somehow leads to a happier life. And I'm sure that we can all attest to times where that is not necessarily true. People get burnt out. Our daughter is a new mother, and I can tell you she's going to have that moment where she's going to realize this is just not working. I've got to do things the way that work best for me. I cannot stick to this type of schedule. We all go through that. Now, while there are some positive practical uses of time management, our ability to truly discern how to best incorporate them is really the key to how essential they are in our daily lives. But when we think about the word discernment, that requires us to do some praying, some asking, and some waiting. And we need to wait on confirmation. We need to wait on guidance. But how many of us really take that time to discern our plans for the day, for the week, for the month? So let's talk a bit. Told y'all we were going to have some points of interactions. When you see a slide that says let's talk, we're going to talk. Okay? So, what are some practical uses or reasons to use time management? Why do you use time management practices now? If you don't, why would you incorporate them? Yes, so nothing falls through the cracks. It's a good one. Be organized, having the most productive day, reaching goals. Yeah. I'm sorry. So you can get some sleep. Yeah, you need to pencil that in. Yes, Dr. Green. So you won't forget. Yes. Yes. All of these are very practical reasons why we use time management practices. I mean, eliminating distractions is one reason why I use them. I use a certain method that I'll get into next week, but it keeps me from being distracted by other things going on, emails, phone calls. Increase productivity. I heard that one. You know, we want to be productive in our day, and the best way to do that is to plan out what we're doing. So, there are some positive reasons for us to use time management. But all through those reasons that we named, there's a singular theme. There's one reason why we really focus on time management, and that theme is goal orientation. Has anyone ever heard about goal orientation? Yeah. So, goal orientation is defined. Here's the way people interpret and respond to situations that involve achievement. And there are some very positive uses for utilizing time management techniques, but a major consequence can be goal orientation. Because for some people, it's a healthy practice. It helps them, kind of analyze a situation, evaluate it, and execute it. But for many of us, it can become quite frustrating. It can cause extreme stress, anxiety, depression, perfectionism, and even compulsive behaviors. I mean, think about it. Let's say that you set a goal for the day. Something comes up, something completely out of your control. And now you have to push that goal to tomorrow. You can't get it done tomorrow because you had everything planned for tomorrow. So you push that goal to next week. Then that week turns into a month. And then that month turns into a year. And so you've gone a whole year trying to get one goal achieved and you weren't able to. I don't know about you, but I might be a little depressed about that. So think about if you're doing that with every single thing that you're planning in your day, in your week, and for unforeseen reasons, or maybe because you just decide that you just don't want to do it, you don't meet that goal. You could fall into the negative aspects of goal orientation. And then you're going to get to the point to where you just don't set goals and you're like, you know what, forget it. I'm not worried about anything. I'm just going to go with it and we'll see what happens. How do you commonly interpret and respond to situations that involve achievement? If you have a certain goal that you have to meet, how do you commonly interpret that and then move towards meeting that goal? Plan backwards? Okay, I like that. I like that. So kind of like setting milestones along the way. Okay, that's good. That's some serious planning too. I don't even do that. I just set the goal and we're gonna go for it. Who else? Does anybody else have a different way in which they start out trying to assess a goal and how they're going to achieve it? Yes. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. That kind of sounds a little bit like the system I use, just a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. That's good. That's good. And you actually touched on something that I'm going to be getting into next week. But whether or not it's going to be good, that was a good point, though. But that's something to consider, as well as the financial implications of you achieving that goal. Those are all great responses. And I think that in all of those, there was this assessment of the situation, planning out how we're going to achieve the goal, and then monitoring that progress, those deadlines before the actual deadline, those milestones or key performance indicators, and then reviewing your results at the end. Because, once you get to that particular deadline, have you achieved it? And if not, what do you need to go and assess in order to get to your finish point, right? But would you notice that in all of what we just named, all of what we just named, we didn't talk about going off by ourselves, praying about it, thinking about it. We go into this automatic mode of planning. It's the conditioning that we've all received. We received it in school when we got our first projects. We didn't get to raise our hands and say, oh, Miss So-and-so, I'm going to go to the back with my group and we're going to pray about how we're going to get this project done for next week. On your jobs, when you get assigned a new task or a new role or project, you don't get to tell your boss, well, before I tell you how we're going to get this done, I'm going to go and pray and I'm going to spend some time with the Lord. I'm going to journal about it and really ask for discernment, and then I'll come back. When he's told me what I need to do, I'll come back and speak to you. No, we go straight into assessing the situation. Okay, right. Yeah. You have to have an answer. That's not something that we normally do. It's like it's almost not acceptable to do it. Okay? But throughout the gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John repeatedly note the amount of time that Jesus spent in solitude, away from the disciples, the crowds, and the busyness of ministry. The frequent mention of this behavior suggests that Jesus was a master at setting boundaries with his time. Amen. And honestly, if Jesus can set boundaries with his time, we should be able to do the same, because I'm not hardly as busy as he was. Right? That's so true. So I'm going to ask somebody to pull up Luke chapter 5, verse 16. And then if someone else could pull up Mark chapter 1, verse 35. And whoever gets to Luke first, if you could read that verse for me. Yes. Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. Who has Mark chapter 1, verse 35? That's a short one, too.
It says, and in the early morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went away to a secluded place and prayed there for a time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And it even goes on to say that Simon and the others went to find him, but it was after some time. So he still had this boundary set that allowed him to be in solitude, to pray, to meditate, to talk to God, to think. And that boundary was respected.
He had to leave the house.
What was that?
Oh, we had to leave the house. The word said we had to leave the house. That makes sense. I'm sorry. I noticed that as practical. You got out the house. It's practical. Makes sense.
Oh, gosh. Oh, goodness. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I think that we can all agree that we've been taught, even some of us have tried, and some have been really successful in starting our day with prayer and devotion or working it into some portion of our day, be it in the afternoon, at night. But some of us have been real successful about keeping up with that. Others have, had great intentions, started out strong, and then, I let those boundaries slip. But as I said, the boundaries that Jesus set were set.
Yeah.
And his alone time was his alone time. And when we set our boundaries, be it in the morning, the afternoon, night, whenever it is, we have to be intentional about protecting those boundaries to the utmost. We can't allow for internal or even external factors to move that boundary. Think of that boundary like a line in the sand. As soon as that wave comes up, that line is gone. And that is how easy some of us allow our boundaries to be swept away.
Mm-hmm.
I can recall I went through this spell of I'm going to get up, I'm going to do my devotions in the morning before I go to work, and I'm going to set my day off right. And I mean, I started out real strong. Trey didn't bother me. He would get himself together, and he knew when I was in my study, don't come in here and bother me. But then slowly, I started realizing I was running in there to do, notice I said running, in there to do my devotion. And I would look at my watch, or I'd look at my phone and see the time. And I'm like, oh gosh, I'm 5 minutes late. I'm 10 minutes behind. So if I do my devotion this morning, that means I'm going to leave the house late, which means I'm going to drop off Trey a little bit later at school. And then I'm not going to get to work at the time that I really want to get to work. And I'm going to be sitting in this traffic. And then my whole day is going to be thrown off. Notice I said my whole day is going to be thrown off if I sit there and do the devotion.
That's what we say. We say that. Yeah.
You see how quickly my boundaries slip?
We say that.
And then soon, instead of doing my devotional for 5 days, it went down to 3 days. And then it went from 3 days to 1 day a week. And then it went 1 day every, couple of weeks. And then finally, there was no more devotional time. So oftentimes our boundaries slip away because of us. It's really not other people.
Yeah.
We like to put it on other folks. I have to do this with the kids. I got to do this with the parents. I've got to be at my job for this, or I've got this responsibility. I told so-and-so I was going to be over here. But at the end of the day, we actually control whether or not that boundary stays. And there are things that we absolutely will not allow people to mess with. If the game is on, if the reality show is on, if we're trying to make that sale, ladies, there's nothing that's going to stop us from getting to the store.
Yeah.
But we will so quickly give up time with God. So I like for you guys to pull out or hold up or look at your worksheets. So we're going to take some time to do a little digging deep, okay? So this is a time management worksheet. And you should be looking at the one that says time management at the top, the wheel that has a time management at the top. So what I'd like for you to do with the pens that are at your tables or with your pens or whatever is color in this time wheel. Each sliver represents an hour. And think about everything that you do in 24 hours of the day. Some of these should be blank because you should be asleep. And if you're not, then we really have a problem, okay? But think about what it is that you do. If you get up in the morning and you work out for an hour, shade in one of those slivers and kind of write above it so that you know what that sliver is for, working out. Okay, be truthful. If you're not getting up and working out in the morning, don't put it on there, okay? I don't have that on mine, okay? If you're going to work, how many hours do you spend at work? If you're picking up the kids and taking them to school. So we'll spend about probably 8 to 10 minutes for you all to do that, okay? So it sounds like there was some revealing stuff that came out in your time management wheels because there was a lot of chatter, a lot of laughing. A lot of people started with sleep first and worked their way back. Yeah, yeah. So now it's time to share. So I want to hear how some of you all are currently allocating your time. Okay. And was there, and when you get up to share, let us know if there was something that was truly revealing, like you just really didn't notice that you spent this much time during a typical day doing a certain task. Okay. Who wants to go first? Sister Pam, you want to go first? Your whole wheel is work?
No, she works two jobs. Yeah.
Bless you.
Wow.
I'm just never really thinking.
So Sister Pam was saying that her wheel was revealing because it was mostly work. And she didn't realize that she allocated that much time to work. Yeah, that's good. That's a great revelation. And that's going to come into play for week 3. Okay, we're setting this thing up, y'all. We're setting it up. So don't be discouraged by what your time will maybe telling you right now. Who else wants to share what was on their wheel? Because we have time.
11:30. Running 11:30. Morning. 11 o'clock. Sleep all the way to 5:30. Okay, so if I wake up between 5:30, I'm working on my budget. Sometimes read the Bible. Sometimes just catching up on overnight news in the morning. 7 o'clock, rest for work. I head to work about 8. Get to work about 8:30. 8:30 to 5 for work. And 6 o'clock in the evening, I'm at home resting on the couch, catching up on news. 7 o'clock dinner. 8 o'clock working in the yard. 9 o'clock to about 10:15. Catching up on 10:15. 10:30 bathing.
Back to sleep again. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. But it sounds like you have a jam-packed day. You know? Who else would like to share? Okay.
Is it on? Okay. So from 7:30 to 8:30, I am working on hygiene and thinking about my day. What intentions am I going to set? And then from 8:30 to 9:30, that is my work travel. So I'm thinking a little bit more deeper in what I'm going to do that day, but I'm also talking to God on my way there. And it's a very beneficial moment to me in the morning, because at from 9:30 to 9:35, I'm doing my desk devotionals. So I sit at my desk before I even look at my emails for the day, whatever tasks I have, and I write a prayer of the day in my journal. And then I go to my Bible app and I write my verse of the day. I reread it, and that's the intention I set for my day. And then from 9:35 to about 5 o'clock, y'all, I'm just slaving at the job. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, but I love my job. And then from 5 to 5:30, I am reflecting on my day, talking to the Lord again on my way home, sitting in traffic. And then from 5:30 to 6, I take that time to rest. 6:30 to maybe 7:30, I'm, chilling out, maybe working on some stuff. But other than that, that's kind of the cycle that I have. And what I found out in this is that I talk to God all day.
Good. That's good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Who else would like to share? Okay.
Okay. Is doing it in a specific order, like 8 to 9 or whatever. Just this is what happens in my day. I go to therapy. Um, I do that's about an hour's worth of therapy. I do about 5 hours of work every day. I socialize for about an hour. I'm not really the social media person. I'm not really the phone girl, but I try to be more intentional about responding to texts and emails. This year, that's one of my things. I spend about 2 hours doing hygiene, meal prep, and working in my garden. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 'Cause I know somebody said too, but I cook everything from scratch because I have food allergies, so it takes time. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You like me? And then traveling to and from therapy, where I go, is about an hour away, so that's 2 hours of my day. Therapy wipes me out, so I usually take a nap. I gave myself about an hour for that, and then sleep about 8 hours.
Okay, thank
Mhm.
you.
You're
Good
welcome.
job. Good job. Okay, we have probably time for one last person. If anyone would like to share Pastor Day.
6 a.m. I wake up and I pray and I get ready for the day. Driving, now it takes me about 40 minutes to get to work. I work all day till around 4. What's the giggles? I drive home. I spend the rest of the day with family. We walk Melanie's and I walk from 7 to 8. And then I end my day back in the bed at 10. And I'm normally sleep about what? And then I'm back up at 6.
All right, all right. Thank you.
And my whole day is working on sermons, so I'm with the Lord all day long.
There you go. There you go. Yes, in the back. Oh, you want to do your? Okay, we got time for one more. We need to get her the mic.
That stuff going on. Okay, so 6 a.m. is getting Remy ready for school. 7:45 ish, I go to do a workout at Planet Fitness. 8:45, I'm home checking my Instagram news. Between 11, 12, 1, 2, and 3:45, that's free time. At 3:45, I pick up Remy. At 5, I start dinner. At 6, we eat dinner. 7, 8, and 9, that's Bravo time. But I penciled in about 30 minutes for Ramon, for my husband. Then because he'll go to sleep by 9:30. So then 10, 11, that's Mo Bravo time. 12, 1, I'll probably take a shower and then I'm in the bed by 1 a.m.
Wow. Okay.
Because what have I done all day? You heard that it was free time between 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Thank you, Shelby. Thank you. So I have to say I'm quite amazed. Some of y'all have quite jam-packed days. Others have plenty of free time. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's a nice mix in here. So for those of you that didn't share, it's okay. You'll have more time as we're together for the rest of the month. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to our homework. Yes, you do have homework. Okay. So don't lose these worksheets. But on the back of that wheel that you just completed, there's the time management worksheet. So what I'd like for you to do is count up those hours from the wheel that align with one of these items here. If your item isn't listed, just cross out what's there and write in what is applicable to you based on your wheel. Okay, you're going to tally up your hours and then you will subtract them by 168. And this is on your worksheet, so you don't have to remember that magic number. And then that's going to tell you how much free time you have. Okay, some of us have already know how much free time we have, but for those of us that don't, okay, you'll be able to tally up how much free time you have. Okay, and then at the bottom, unfortunately, you don't have 5 additional lines, but if you have 10 priorities, you can list them there. Okay, and you're going to list them in order from most to least important. But 10 priorities for it could be for your personal life, family life. Those priorities are going to play into our week 3 when we start talking about divine time management. And when we start really spending time talking to God about what we should be doing with our time. Because oftentimes we set priorities and things that we want to do, but we haven't really consulted with the one that we should be consulting with. And so oftentimes our priorities or the things that we want to do are not in line with his purpose for us. So write down, if you have 10, that's great. If you only have 2, that's fine. But write down those priorities on that list and be prepared when we come back next Wednesday to share. Okay, okay. But I hope that you all enjoyed this first session. As you go through, thank you. Thank you. As you go through this homework as well, start spending some time praying and asking God what it is that he really wants you to do with the time that he has given you. That is going to be a theme as we go through this session of practical living, is making sure that we're in alignment with him before we start the actual planning. So spend that time kind of curating what that prayer is going to be for you. And it could be simply, God, what should I be doing with this time? Because I don't know, and I'm probably not using it in the way that you desire for me to use it. Amen. So, okay. All right. We're gonna do a closing prayer, or do we want to do prayer requests before? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do you want to go ahead and do it? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you.